I keep thinking about Men in Black. It's just the kind of blockbuster we don't get anymore. And it just won't leave my head. It's always one of those films I just come back to. And I don't want to say it's just nostalgia for Men in Black, because I really do believe this movie stands up. Every time I watch it, it is one of those time capsule movies that takes you back to exactly how you felt when you saw it. Just the funny, weird, unsettling, imaginative, kind of wild vibe that Barry Sonnenfeld created. It's crazy to look back on this and see Will Smith in his element. Pretty much untouchable. Magnetic. He is so incredibly funny in Men in Black. He is absolutely hilarious.
Well, first I was gonna pop this guy hanging from the street light, and then I realized, he's just working out. And how would I feel if somebody come running in the gym, bust me in my ass while I'm on a treadmill? Then I saw this snarling beast guy, and I noticed he had a tissue in his hand. I realized, he's not snarling, he's sneezing. Ain't no real threat there. Then I saw little Tiffany, 8-year-old white girl, middle of the ghetto, bunch of monsters, this time of night with quantum physics books. She about to start some shit, Zed.
And he created kind of cinematic magic with Tommy Lee Jones. And it's so crazy to look back now and see Will Smith like this when we know what's happened now.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
His position now is so different to how it was back here. And it's interesting, you're almost looking back on youth with the Will Smith performance in Men in Black, and then life gets difficult. Will Smith's journey has kind of been quite relatable in a way. Like, he's made major mistakes, and people make major mistakes, and people long for the days where they were younger and more free and more in their element. And that's what you get with Men in Black. You get Will Smith young and in his element and just so funny, and you never believed he could go downhill.
And to be honest, I'd appreciate it if you eased up off my back about it. Or do I owe her an apology?
But then at the same time, I do get some comfort of going back and watching Will Smith for this film to know that he can do it. It's in there somewhere. Will Smith needs to do that. He needs to go back and check out when he was the man and go, what can I do to recapture that for a modern era? I feel that's a major problem with today's movies. We haven't really created our own 90s blockbuster era. We've created Marvel, and that's it. We don't have fun movies like Men in Black. Will Smith used to be the biggest star on earth, and now he's lost in the wilderness.
Of course. That's obviously the first thing I noticed.
The older that I get, the more I appreciate Tommy Lee Jones in this. He's such a good straight man, and they really just play off each other so well. They just hit the timing. The timing is great in this.
Would you stop that?
What?
That thing is gonna give her brain cancer or something.
Never heard her before.
What? Never heard her before? How many times have you flashy thinged that poor woman?
Couple.
So would you not worried about no long-term damage?
Little.
Hey, Kay, have you ever flashy thinged me?
No.
I ain't playing with you, Kay. Have you ever flashy thinged me?
No.
That hilarious scene where he's driving 1,000 miles an hour, singing along to Elvis, and he tells Agent J to relax. The whole film's been about Agent K being stuffy and grumpy, but actually he has these moments where he's the one telling Agent J to relax, and it's just hilarious how he's now accustomed to this wild, crazy world.
You do know Elvis is dead, right?
No, Elvis is not dead. He just went home.
I just love the fish out of water stuff with Will Smith, which they just couldn't do again in Men in Black 2, which was such a failure because Will Smith is so good at genuine shocked reactions and being overwhelmed with what's going on around him, the absurdity of it all. His reactions are just second to none in this film. Like when they visit the guy at the jewellery store, his reaction to seeing him get his head shot off is just priceless. I love Will Smith reacting to the Men in Black technology, like when he has to give out new memories with the neuralizer. That scene where he's giving that new memory to the farmer's wife who's been infiltrated by an alien is some of the funniest stuff in all of 90s comedy, because he's just trying to inject humanity into this cold Men in Black technology where Agent K's just like immediately, here's your memory, I'm gone. Whereas Agent J just wants to bring his young, hip vibe into it.
And that weak-ass story is the best you can come up with.
More personal note, Beatrice. Edgar ran off with an old girlfriend. You're gonna go stay with your mom a couple nights, you're gonna get over it and decide you're better off.
Well, yeah, because he never appreciated you anyway. In fact, you know what? You kicked him out. And now that he's gone, you're gonna go in town, you go to Bloomingdale's, you find yourself some nice dresses, get yourself some shoes, you know, find somewhere, maybe you get a facial. Oh, hire a decorator to come in here quick, cause damn.
And he just goes off and starts reeling off, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was improvisation back here. Will Smith was just, every line that came out of his mouth was just comedy gold. And there's just such wonderful situation comedy in Men in Black, like when Agent J comes to Men in Black headquarters with all the other best in their field, and he's just continually messing up the tests in this awkward, funny, on edge, biting, sarcastic way, as only Will Smith can. It's just genius. It's just so much fun to watch. But then it turns out that he was actually the ideal choice, probably because he'd done all these things. There's such a great irony in Men in Black. There's such a great questioning of humanity's norms, and there just seems to be this idea that the weirdness and the offbeat are the actual normal in this world, and that's what the Men in Black are searching for. They don't want someone normal and by the book. They know that they have to be someone who's a little bit crazy and a little bit insane. I love how it's kind of poking fun at the Men in Black legends. Like, the aliens they meet are just regular people trying to get on with their lives. You get this kind of idea that people are all aliens who you suspect when they put the aliens on the screen, and Michael Jackson's on there, and different people from Jay's past are on there. It's just a fun way to poke fun at something that people take very serious, you know, the fear that people have of alien and alien life. It's just such a joyous way to interpret something very serious. A lot of people, it's a subject that gets them very paranoid. It just brings it levity, and it makes you imagine the world a little bit differently, with a different energy and a different perspective. It's also a very well written film. There are just some genius lines, such as when Agent K explains to Jay why the Men in Black can't tell everyone. It's a genius line which still endures to this day when you think about the world.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat, and 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet.
There are moments that make you wonder about the nature of humanity, whether we can really trust ourselves to know any information. You know, that answer is a wonderful answer as to why the government wouldn't be telling people things. And it's almost like this film tells humans that they need to kind of reflect on how they're behaving in order to have this crazy world opened up to them. It's all out there. We're not ready for it yet, and it's a good argument for the fact that we're not ready for it yet. But I love that kind of sprinkle of comedy on top of it, and humour and madness, that this world we're not ready for is actually not that bad, probably, in this universe. It can be managed, and it's fun and it's quirky, and the aliens aren't that much of a threat, but humans aren't ready to know that. This major thing that we feared for so many years actually probably isn't that bad. I like that idea in Men in Black. There's a positive undertone to it. There's just so much I love about it. The CGI still had a reason here. You know, like the moment where the alien's head is shot off, or the moment where the tentacles are throwing Agent J around outside the car. When they used the CG in this, it seemed necessary, and it worked. I almost feel like people learnt the wrong lessons from Men in Black. They just learnt, well, we can just do visually creative things, and it doesn't matter if there's no substance to it. It doesn't matter if there's no reason we're doing them. You don't feel pulled out by the CGI, and you know, there are some practical things to it, but you know, even the giant bug, you can tell it's CGI, but you just give it a break. And nowadays you don't. You get frustrated with CGI, and I feel like people are going to say this is just nostalgia, but I don't know. I just feel like there is something that's been lost, and I think Men in Black is the pinnacle of that time. You know, the last of films where you were excited about computer generated effects coming in. It is a lightning in a bottle film. I do believe that, because Men in Black 2 was such a catastrophic failure, which I can't even believe how much of a failure it was, because they couldn't get the chemistry again. They had to have Tommy Lee Jones be the fish out of water when he gets his memory back, and Agent J be the one who's the seasoned veteran, and it doesn't work at all, because that's not the dynamic that made Men in Black work. I see what they were trying to do with the idea, to flip roles, but then by the end of Men in Black, Black 2, they flip back to the roles anyway, and then it's like you don't care by then. So Men in Black 2 is a bad film. Men in Black 3 was an okay film, but it kind of just became an action CGI fest, whereas Men in Black, I don't think they understood what made it work. It was so well written and so well done, and it feels so contained. We're making sequels and we're making films and we're not remembering what made what we're trying to recreate work, or we're willing to take the risk that we can't recreate that, and I don't think we should be doing that.